Welcome students, welcome to this third series of project management chapter. So in this lecture, we are going to study about first of all, we will try to learn about the critical path method. It's a technique which is used in project management. We will introduce this technique and then we will look into the terminology as well. What are the terms which are related to critical path method technique? Next, then we will look into the example where we will try to draw the network diagram and solve the example of float calculations. We will calculate float which are related to critical path method. And finally, we will compare the two techniques, critical path method and PERT, that is program evaluation and review technique. So let's start with the introduction of critical path method. So what is the importance of critical path method? What is critical path method? See, this method is a tool, project management tool. You can effectively manage the project with the help of this tool. You can find out the critical path, or you can say the critical activities which are involved in the particular project. So what are these critical activities? These activities takes longest, or you can say the longest time to complete, or you can say these path along which these activities are there, that is the critical path. And if there is any delay in these activities, it will cause the delay into the project. Right? You cannot complete the project within a given deadline if if keep on delaying the activities which are on this critical path. Clear? So that is why we have to find out the critical path so that the project management can effectively manage these activities. Right? At the end, we have to manage the project effectively. So what are the 6 common steps involved in both TechniquePERT and CPM? They both have common steps. The first one is we have to define the project. Beforehand, we have to define different activities which are involved in the project. We will define them, and then we will try to define the dependence, or you can say which activity is this predecessor, which activity is the successor, right? We will try to find out the relationship between the activities. Why? Because based on this relationship, we will try to draw the network diagram. In recent cases, the softwares are available. We can use the software, but in our case, in our lecture series, we will do the manual calculation with the hand, right? We'll draw the diagram manually. What is the next step? We will try to find out the critical path, or you can say critical time. In finding out the critical time, we will critical path, the critical activities which are contributing towards the completion of the project. Now these activities we have to concentrate on because they are contributing to the delay. If any delay is there in these activities, it is going to delay the project duration, overall project duration. And hence, once we get this critical path, the comprising of these critical activities, we can easily monitor this project. We can plan beforehand which resources we get involved so that we can effectively control the project duration. So what are the terminologies which are related to critical path method? The first one is the float. What is float? Float is the amount of time which an activity can be delayed without affecting the project duration. Right? There are different types of floats involved, terms involved. Let's say, for example, the first one is the total float, which is again the amount of time, right? The activity can be delayed here, it is written here, overall completion time of the project. Clear? What is total float? Which is LFT minus EFT. What is LFT? Latest finish time. You have the difference of latest finish time and earliest finish time. Another float is the free float. Now, what is free float? It is the duration by which an activity can be delayed without delaying the succeeding activity. So let's say, for example, 2 activities are there, right? The first and second activity. Now, first activity, the duration is 5 days, and the second activity, the duration is 7 days. Now, if we can delay the duration of this first activity without affecting the succeeding activity. Now, if we delay this activity, we cannot start the successor activity. It should not be like that, right? So that duration is nothing but the free float. What is independent float? Independent float is the same again duration where we can delay the activity, the predecessor activity, without affecting the earliest start time of the succeeding. What is interfering float? Interfering float is the difference of total float and the free float. Now, subcritical activities. What is subcritical? Now, what we already understood what are the critical activities. Critical activities are those activities where the total is zero. You cannot delay those activities, right? If you have delays, then it is going to affect the total project duration. Now, what is the subcritical activity? Subcritical activity is the activity where the total float is positive. Supercritical activities are the activities where the float is negative. And critical activities is the activity where the total float is zero. Now let's look into an example. We will try to solve, we will draw the network diagram, we will find out the different times and float, we will calculate all of them, right? So let's start. So here in an example, activities are given, that duration is also given, and we have to find out the critical path and different floats. So let's start drawing the activity diagram. So here if you see from 1 to 2, right, we will connect with the arrow, right, the relationship. Right. Next is 1 to 3. We can connect with an arrow. Same from 2 to 3, 2 to 5, 3 to 4, 3 to 6, 4 to 6, 5 to 6, and finally 6 to 7. We will also write down the duration of activities. Next, what is the next step? This is the crucial step. Whenever the activity starts, the starting activity, the starting event, the top one is the earliest start time here in the box. The bottom one is latest finish time, right? So let's start with the top one. So from 0 we will add the duration. So 0 plus 10 is equal to 10 here, right? 10 plus 3 is equal to 13. Also 0 plus 10 is equal to 30. So we will take the latest one, the maximum one, which is 10 plus 3 is equal to 30. Same 13 plus 7 is equal to 20, right? From 4 to 5, 10 plus 6 is equal to 16. 16 plus 4 is equal to 20. But here it is 25. Why? Because 20 plus 5 is 25. We will take the maximum value. 25 plus 7 is 32. Here. So in this way we have found out the EST. So what about LFT? We will go the backward way. Here we have gone the forward pass. In backward pass we will find out the LFT. So 32, the project duration is 32. So we will start with the 32. Right? So 32 minus 7 is 25. 25 minus 5 is, so sorry, we will go with the 5 first. So 25 minus 4 is 21. Now 5 to 4 we will go. 25 minus 5 is 20. Now 4 to 3. 20 minus 7 is 13. Here also 25 minus 9 is there, which is equal to around 16, right? But we will take the minimum value here, which is 13. 16 minus 6 is 10 here. Sorry, 21 minus 6 is 9, sorry, is around 15, right? And 13 here, 13 minus 3 is equal to 10. We will take the minimum value, which is equal to 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. So hence we have found out the LFT and EST of this, all the events. And we also found out the critical activity where the float is 0, 10 minus 10 is 0 here. So these equal activities is where the float is 0. Those are the critical activities. What is the critical activity? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. And project duration is 32 days. Here, what is the next step? We will try to find out the float. Now, first of all, we will write down the activities, different activities which is already given in given data. Next is we will also write the duration, which is a given data. Next, we already found out EST of each and every event. From if you see the tail event 1, that is 0. For 1 the EST is 0. For 2, if you see here it is 10, so we will write down 10 here. For here 3, here the 13 is there, EST and LFT. So EST we will look to 13, we have written 10 accordingly. What is the next one? EFT. Now EFT is EST plus duration. Add both of them and you will get the earliest finish time. Next is LST. We will find LST with the help of LFT. We have already calculated LFT. So we will write down the LFT from the head event. Here head event is 2. So what is the LFT here? 10. So we will write down 10 here. For 3, the head event is 13. Sorry, LFT is 13. So we will write down 13 here. Right? And accordingly. And when we find the difference of LFT and duration, 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. So we have found out LST. Clear? So in this way we got the LST column. What is the next column? Total float. It is LFT minus EFT or LST minus EST. So you got the total float here as well. Next, we will find out the free float. How do we calculate free float? We subtract total float and LFT and EST of head event. Remember this. So LFT here and EST of which? Of the head event. What is the head event here? 2 is the head event. Now where is 2 here? 2 is here. So 10 minus 10 is 0. So 0 minus 0 is 0. Same way, second, what is the head event here? 3. What is LFT and EST? 13. So 13 minus 13 is again 0. So 3 minus 0 is 0. Sorry, 3. So here we have found out the free float. Next, we will find out the interfering float. So what is interfering float? It is difference of total float and free float. So hence we have got the interfering float. These two, the difference of these two. Clear? And finally, in independent float, we got the free float, where we found out the free float here, right? And we will find the difference of LFT and EST of tail event. Now here, what is the tail event? 1. 1 is 0 minus 0, so 0 minus 0, that is equal to 0, right? Same way, let's talk about here, in this, 3 to 6. What is the tail event here? 3. If you see here in the third one, it is 13 minus 13, that is equal to 0, right? But if you see the free float here, that is 3, right? 3 is the free float here, 3 minus 0 is 3. So here we got 3. So accordingly we can find out the independent float. So hence in this way we can solve the example by drawing the network diagram based on the duration and activities given and their relationship given. Then we can find out the critical path and critical whatever the project duration is. And after that, based on the critical path and EST and LFT calculations, we can easily find out the floats. Next, we will look into the difference between comparison between the PERT and CPM technique. Now, if you talk about the differences, basically PERT is oriented and event oriented, right? It revolves around the events, and CPM is mainly focusing on the activities, right? Now, what is meaning? Project evaluation and review technique. In case of CPM, it is critical path method. The application point of view, if you see, CPM is focusing on the construction projects, medium to small industries, manufacturing industries, and those they look into this method. Like specifically, Twin Towers we looked into in New York, they were built based on the CPM technique. Now, Navy projects like submarines, nuclear projects, they are built based on this project management technique, PERT technique, right? So PERT is specifically focusing on the probabilistic time, while CPM it focuses on the precise time, means activities we know beforehand the precise time of completion. In the case of PERT, it is not. We do the probabilistic estimates. We will look into the examples. Also, if you see the evolution, PERT has evolved as an R&D project, right? As I discussed, as an application. But in construction projects, you can use the CPM or critical path method. Now here, PERT focuses on time and time cost trade-off. When you are looking into, then you can use the critical path method. There are only one precise time in CPM, but in PERT you have 3 time estimates, and then you find out the expected time for the activity duration. And definitely, if the precise times are there, then predictable activities will be predictable. But in PERT, you have unpredictable activities. Right? Very difficult to estimate the time in case of PERT, but you have the precise time in CPM, so you get the effective answers. But that is not the practical case, right? CPM again is the repetitive kind of jobs. If are involved, then you can definitely use CPM. But for the non-repetitive, one-off project kind of things, research and development things, then you look into the PERT. So in this way, these are some of the comparison points, or you can see the focuses where you compare these two techniques, some differences, some similarities as well, where you compare these two PERT and CPM technique. So in next lecture, we will look into some other methods as well, PERT methods as well, right? So in this lecture, we introduce CPM method, some terminology, and we also solved a problem based on critical path method, and we calculated floats and different times, earliest start time, latest finish time, and project duration as well based on the problem. And finally, we look into the comparison of PERT and